this is all very positive, and it could be because people are recognizing that we are repeating, okay? And this is the main thing I want to talk about. You look at what happened prior from 2015 all the way up to 2017, right? We had pretty good uptrend, 1,064 days. Then we had a downtrend about 364 days, right around a year. And then we had another uptrend. Even though during that time when we had an uptrend, it seemed like we were not moving and kind of going sideways and doing nothing, right? But it was part of the next uptrend, which exactly stopped at 1,064 days. Interesting. And guess what? Today we are the 364 day of downtrend according to this. So is history repeating? And if so, that would mean this is a fantastic thing. That means this is the time to be stocking up. Just like the last time when the bottom was found, we hovered there for months upon months before we started heading up. And it could be the same way now, right? But again, sometimes you notice these things, and these patterns are pretty apparent. Every cycle we go through some bad things. Bad actors come out, right? If you think FTX was the only bad actor, well, think again. Back in 2015, Bitfinex suffered a huge hack. It's the same thing. If you look at 2015 to right now to 2022, it's pretty similar. Bitfinex had a huge hack, one of the biggest exchanges back in 2015, and they actually had to create tokens to kind of supplement their liquidity, and they survived. But throughout Bitcoin's history, there has been many bad actors and exchanges that has gone belly up. Let's not forget Mt. Gox, the very first and biggest Bitcoin exchange that had a huge hack, went under. We had Bitfinex, and we had many others throughout time, throughout history, right? And Bitcoin just ignores it, picks itself back up, and continues forward. That's just how Bitcoin is. This is why we're in it. We know we'll get through it. We know things will get better, but there'll be times where it's scary. The best way to think about it is these are the times that you want to DCA and stock up and continue to hold while others are panic selling. All right, and then here's something else too. Just looking at, if you're looking at a halving event and how that plays a role in Bitcoin's ups and downs, right? We're 64% till the next halving event. And you look at it, just like the previous chart, 64% is basically marking the bottom. So every single cycle, when you're 64% till the next cycle, look at what happens. We find a bottom and we continue to trend higher. And this happened past 2 cycles, and we're at that 64%. We're not that far off from the next halving event. So again, history is repeating. All right, so good things about Bitcoin. What else is there? Well, some FTX news. Yesterday, there was a pre-recorded video that was put out from the Attorney General and also Senator of the Bahamas, and they defended the way they reacted to FTX fallout in terms of just demanding them to send like $500 million to them, and they didn't like how the new CEO misrepresented what they did. This is according to this person, and basically said that, yeah, we did what we did because we felt like that was the only way to protect ourselves, but we're not going to share any more information in terms of what we're going to do with those funds. See, that's the thing. That makes it even worse, because the bankruptcy hearing in the U.S., basically now they have to report there's another like $500 million hole that they can't account for, because basically the Bahamans took it. It sounds like that's what's happening. But, they didn't just take it for themselves. They're supposed to be giving it out to the creditors and stuff like that. But the whole thing is kind of weird, because FTX was a company based in the Bahamas, not in the U.S. Yet FTX decided to file bankruptcy hearing in the U.S. Does the U.S. have jurisdiction over Bahamas in terms of the assets and stuff? The answer is no. So I don't know. This just complicates things, right? This really complicates things. So I don't know, I don't know what's going to happen with this 500 million. But also, this person right here also pointing fingers at Binance, pointing a finger at CZ, saying that the bank run only happened because CZ publicly declared he was going to sell his FTT stake, which is true, but also, if FTX had enough and didn't have any problems with their balance sheet, if Caroline and Alameda didn't lose $8 billion, well, that bank run would not have ended in bankruptcy, right? So you can't just blame CZ for that. CZ kind of knew what was going on, was fed up with it, and said, hey, enough is enough. But you can't say, well, it's all due to CZ. So again, I don't know if he's doing that just to kind of, divert blame away from FTX, trying to make themselves look good, like, oh, we vetted a company and we thought it was fine, but CZ was the one that brought him down. I think there's a little bit of that, but CZ was caught off guard. he didn't know that he was going to get thrown on a bus because of it. But anyways, yeah, so that's the latest with FTX. Another exchange, Coinbase, trying to bolster their European expansion. Coinbase is still the biggest, most regulated exchange in the U.S. And, they seem to be doing fine right now, although there was a lot of fear, a lot of Bitcoins taken away from Coinbase, but they seem to be doing fine. A lot of Bitcoins being taken away everywhere. And that's, again, I've been saying this, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. You take Bitcoin off the exchanges, right? That means the supply is decreasing. More and more people are learning about how to basically self-custody their own crypto. These are fantastic things. Also, supposedly FTX was so desperate for money, they approached the banks and offered them up to 12% in interest if they just deposit their cash in FTX, right? Luckily, the banks were smarter than that and didn't deposit anything. Otherwise, it would be all gone. So that's how desperate things are. And you guys know I do have I posted a video about BitBoy down there, and he's trying to do his thing. I don't know what it's going to do, but supposedly, I don't know if he's talked to this guy, and he's talking with the authorities, and he's camping down there trying to get SBF to talk. I don't know if it's going to result in anything, but he is down there trying to get to the bottom of things. All right, and then outside of this, what else? I don't know. And then lastly, Doge. I think they're down a little bit from their peak, but a lot of people have been asking about why Doge is going up. Well, it's because of Twitter and Elon's speculation that Doge could be the main payment within this new Twitter 2.0 speculation. We don't know, but I've been saying Doge is going to be carried by Elon, and everyone's waiting to see what he does next. But moving on to some crypto news. What's going on with crypto? Well, there was some questions about whether or not Binance, what they're doing with this $2 billion, whether or not they were trying to shift things around. People were a little bit scared about whether or not their proof of reserves was good, right? It's this $2 billion. And then CZ chimed in and said, actually, they moved it to prove that it's theirs, that the auditors actually question whether or not they own that original address, which is why they've been shifting it around. So that's good. That's good. I mean, it's kind of hard to prove if you're an owner of address other than to just move the funds, right? But man, just imagine if you had to move $2 billion from one of your wallets to a new wallet, that's just scary. That's just scary. When I have to transfer between one wallet to another, I do a small test amount before sending the whole thing. But man, imagine sending $2 billion worth of Bitcoin and somehow messing up on the address. That would be absolutely disastrous. The reason why it's red today supposedly is due to the protests in China. So China and President Xi is really, they're butting heads right now because the president wants basically a zero COVID policy. And when you have 1.3 billion people, it's kind of hard to make that happen. So again, there's some deaths due to COVID. So there's talks about more shutdowns and more quarantine, and the people from Shanghai and other cities are fed up with it. So they protested over the weekend, and that's what's happening right now. Market bell. Not working this morning. Oh, there we go. So because of it, the global markets are affected and a little red. I think the reason being because, of course, China is a major exporter. A lot of the supply chain issues we've had over the last few years is due to China's COVID lockdown and quarantine, and we certainly don't need more of that. But I don't know if this is going to do anything, and most likely not. But that's the reason why we're a little red this morning, and we'll see what happens. In the meantime, though, a lot of people still shopping. Black Friday, I think the official numbers are around 9 billion. And Cyber Monday, which is actually today. I didn't know Black Friday was a worldwide thing. I don't know if Cyber Monday is also a worldwide thing. Maybe it is, but it's anticipated it's going to bring record sales, 11.2 billion. That's just in the U.S. alone. So we'll see if this is accurate. So yeah, so there's a lot of people still spending money, not at the stores, but online certainly. But anyways, moving on. As for the holders, they continue to increase. The shrimp, here's measuring the shrimps. Basically, anyone with less than 1 Bitcoin up to 1 Bitcoin, you can see on the right-hand side. It's hard to see, but it's skyrocketing. It's skyrocketing right now. And same thing with the crabs, which is anywhere from 0.1 all the way up to 10. And again, look on the right side, skyrocketing, right? So